So, I have a Zoom, I'll call back. So, this board is clean. Absolutely clean board. Yes? And behind it there is space. It is infinite. So let's imagine. Let's try to imagine now that this is you. Here you have emerged. You have emerged in the form of this body. This is just your body. Let's say you came out of the belly as a body. In space, a clean sheet. Without a name, without knowledge. Without all this. That someone invented. Clean. Alive. A living organism. You just need to consider that life exists before knowledge. All the knowledge that humanity operates with is humanity's knowledge. What is happening right now was before humanity ever existed. And this needs to be considered and realized. By some miracle, you need to realize that the entire universe holds itself in space. You see, for anything to be able to be, there needs to be space in which it will arise, in which it will endure, and in which it will dissolve. For sound to arise, there needs to be space in which it will arise. If there is concrete from here to there, then sound will not pass through it. It needs space in which sound will arise, where it will endure and dissolve. For a body to arise, this body could move like this. There needs to be space in which it arises, endures, and dissolves. For a thought to arise, there needs to be space in which it will arise, endure, and dissolve. Feelings, speaking, seeing, for all this to be. For every single thing that you are aware of to be. No matter how it looks, sounds, or smells, in order for it to be able to exist. There should exist a sufficient space in which it came into being. See this. Space is more primary than the phenomena that arise in it. And space is unchanging. It does not disappear. All phenomena arise and disappear. Space does not arise and does not disappear. Here you can just sit. Throughout your day, everything will change. The only thing that will remain unchanging is space. Consciousness, emptiness. Call it however you like. The universe came into existence in something. All that exists arose in something. This emptiness exists before everything. Before absolutely everything. Before the planet arose, before the universe arose. That is, before everything, there is this emptiness. There was nothing. And in this nothing, I somehow name it, but it is beyond names. It's not even nothing. From nothing, everything we see, feel, and realize has emerged. We seem to see an infinitely small part of what is happening. But, in any case, it's all somehow one. In this emptiness, everything has arisen. And so, we have arisen. And what happens next? Well, we arose. And then there is attention. So I will write it attention. There is mind, thinking. Next, speaking. Seeing. also hearing, and feeling. Experiencing feelings and emotions, they truly go hand in hand. We can then say, smell, smell. I also relate smell to feeling. Movement is the next. Now it'll be fun. Almost there. Yeah. First I will explain to you how attention differs from seeing. It is very simple but needs to be explained how attention differs from seeing. Because attention, among other things, realizes vision. Here, attention. You can pay attention to something and it will be known. You can freeze, and with attention, bring to the forefront sound within the space. Conditionally, music can play in space. Someone can be speaking, several people can be talking, and with your focused attention you can truly concentrate on the speech of someone and come to know it, or perhaps on a certain sound and fully understand it. With attention you can stroll through the body and feel how you sit. If, for example, I am now sitting, my leg touches the chair, my butt touches the chair, fingers touch, legs touch the floor. I can highlight one of the touches, that is, I accumulate. With a focused attention, for instance, on one of these aspects, and it's primarily recognized and deeply felt. After all, you can too. Therefore, I see everyone got it. The difference between attention and vision. Vision is only what is seen, while with attention you can know everything, the visible and the invisible. You've arisen. When you arose, in your space of awareness, different phenomena also began to arise in the form of attention, vision, mind, thinking, the act of feeling, the process of speaking, the movements of the body, hearing. You exist before each of these phenomena. All of these various phenomena that we observe are indeed equal. They emerge within the vast space of your consciousness. They sustain for a moment and then dissolve. You invariably are before, are during, and after. But it has happened to humanity that they, like attention. So the mind is the personality. Personality, they are strive to be a personality. And so into there, they began to shout some name, because humanity arose and they do not understand totally what is happening here, did not understand what was happening. And everything was given a name. When everything was given a name, they named themselves. That is, they limited everything to some concepts. So, it happened, and it simply does not really matter why it took place. It just happened this way. It is as it is. It happens. Everything was given a name. Because they didn't know what it was, they just didn't know what it was and said, "You'll be an orange. You'll be an orange, be this," and so everything was given a name. When something is given a name, it is limited. Next, descriptions were given to these names and they limited their limitations. There is this I, you, separation feeling. And so, thus a person arises, and the first thing they immediately do is give a name. And they simply, from the very first moment, transform absolute consciousness into this flawed personality. And moreover, all forces are formed in such a way, all knowledge in people is formed in such a way that, from the first moments of the appearance of this absolute consciousness, they just form it immediately into this shell. And it is so absolute that it accepts this form. And all its life considers itself this form, although it has never been. And this is just one infinite part of what it is. And they start shouting the name there, very, very earnestly,